assalamu alaikum and a warm welcome to Visionary Pulse with me, your host Farzana Mayat, a segment that focuses on chatting to game changers and change makers. And tonight is certainly no different as we're going to be chatting to one such game changer and change maker. We say a very good evening and a warm welcome to Wendy Vandenberg, who is an advanced intradermal cosmetic technician. She is the owner of Aesthetica Intradermal Cosmetic Practice, a passionate aesthetics trainer for Med Wellness, as well as a director for Born with a Purpose Foundation. She is also a former flight attendant. So, wow, such a vast profile, Wendy. Good evening and welcome to Visionary Pulse. It's a privilege to have you with me.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, Wendy, tell me, with such a vast profile, how do you manage everything?
Well, it started obviously with me after school. I studied international travel, got my diploma, and then it's a funny story, but I've actually never been on an airplane.
Oh, okay. Before this, right?
Before this,
okay.
Yeah. And a friend was doing his PPL, and he said, come do, he needed to build hours, and we did the flight. I went with him. We just flew a few circuits, and we had a radio failure.
Wow.
And we had to do an emergency landing.
On air, okay.
Yes.
Right.
And when I got off, I was in love with flying.
Oh, so you weren't mortified that, you know what, I'm not going to ever step into a plane again?
No, not at all, actually. And then I did my cabin crew license.
Okay.
I got a job within about 3 months, and then I started flying for a charter company. And my first big airplane was actually an ATR, which is also a propeller. So,
oh, my word.
Yes. From there, we ended up on ERJ jets, and I started doing contract flying all over Africa. I did that for about 2.5 years, and then I got employed in Nigeria working for a high profile on a corporate jet.
Wow.
Yes, and then I was there for about 7.5 years, flying all over, but my base was Lagos.
My word. Yeah. And how old were you, Wendy, when all this happened?
I started when I was 21 with the flying, and in total I flew for about 10 years.
10 years?
Yes, 10 years. It wasn't the plan, but you know how it goes. And honestly, I wanted to fly for like 2-3 years, and then...
But it became your passion.
It really did. And when you fly on a corporate jet, it's completely different. It's not like
Why?
your airline, because you are... When you don't have a managing company, okay, you are responsible for that aircraft. Everything from...
So the pressure's real.
Yes, from plates to this to... And everybody also thinks it's a glorified job. It's everything but that.
And that's what I want you to highlight, Wendy.
Yeah, that is actually like... People think that you stand around, you look pretty, you see the world, you serve food, and that's actually true, not untrue in any way, but you are actually there for safety reasons. If something happens, we go through extensive training. We go through firefighting, ditching, AVMED, which is aviation medicine. We need to be able to do whatever it needs to be done if we get into a situation.
Okay, so Wendy, you decided now, this incident happened, you decided now, I want to, you know, I've fallen in love with flying.
Yes.
But then how did the training and the process thereof, take us through that as well.
So you can do your cabin crew license. Right. There's a few companies, aviation companies like Cranfield, and you go through a 6 weeks training where you basically go through firefighting, ditching. You need to be able to swim. You need to be able to put out a fire. So they actually put you through practical training of that. If there's an emergency, you need to be able to evacuate the aircraft within 90 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's commands we follow. You need to know how to check your equipment, if everything is working before the flight departs. So they teach you that in your ab initio, is what they call it, your ab initio training. But what they do is once you get your ab initio, and they have a very high pass mark, after that, you now have to do recurrent training. Every 6 months or every year, depends on what it is that you're doing. We go through safety and operational procedures, everything like that. Then you get rated on an airplane because you don't have a license and can fly any airplane. You need to be rated on a specific airplane to fly that airplane, because the equipment will be in different places.
Okay.
So everybody says, yeah, I was too short. It's not about that. It's about, can you reach the equipment? If you are too short and you fly on a very big airplane, you will not
It's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem. And in smaller airplanes, you need to fit through the aisle. So that is what it is about. And it's a quite extensive training, but then we keep doing it. You need aviation, you need a medical, a DD50, to pass. We call it fit to fly. So you actually need to be fit to fly. They put us through tests every 2 years, check your lungs, your heart, everything, because at that altitude, it's like 1 hour in the air is about 7 hours work on the ground because of the altitude. And also because the cabin is pressurized, we call it fake oxygen. So it's not the same oxygen that you breathe when you're on the earth.
Oh,
Yeah.
my word. Okay, and you did
Yeah.
this for 10 years.
Yes.
And this was not the plan.
No, never. It wasn't. So I didn't actually know exactly what I wanted to do after school. Tourism was a big thing for me,
Right.
and I enjoyed it, so I went and studied. I got the diploma. But when I got on the airplane, it has nothing to do with tourism. It's not the
Absolutely,
same.
yeah, it's chalk and cheese, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You would think it's the same, but it helped me wherever we went, because of I knew what was there because I studied travel. But flying and tourism is not the same thing.
It's two totally different
Two
facets.
totally different things, yeah.
Okay, so Wendy, now that brings me to my next question. Flight attendant, and now the world of aesthetics and medicine. Where did that change come about? How?
So I actually had always an interest in aesthetics.
Okay.
But when I had the decision to choose what I want to study, I chose tourism because at that stage I thought, if I go into the beauty industry, I'm going to end up a beauty therapist,
Okay.
working for someone, and
That's not something you
that's
wanted?
not something I wanted to do.
All right.
I studied tourism, and with that, there's a vast, like the range of what you can go into is extremely big.
Wow.
So I really enjoyed that. But after getting off the plane, even with the emergency landing we did, I wanted to fly. And that's why I said it's funny, because my first big airplane was the one I was employed on.
And corporate, right?
Not immediately.
Okay.
So at the charter companies, it's very similar to a passenger aircraft. It's just
Okay.
a little bit smaller.
All right.
But we did charter runs, so we would have contracts.
So basically, am I correct in saying they threw you in the deep end? You started off with the most difficult.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Corporate is nice, and it's easier in that way, but it's also much more intense. When you work for a high profile like that, it's completely different, especially if you work in a different country,
Okay.
a different culture.
Right.
You need to know how to approach. There's different respects, all of that you need to adapt to when you work in a country like Lagos,
Right.
Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then aesthetics, when you decided now, aesthetics,
So, yeah, what happened is I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I ended up flying, and I really enjoyed it. I grew with the company. We got bigger jets, and I came to a point where it was like so how it worked was I would be home for 6 weeks off, and then I'd go back for 6 weeks.
Oh,
So we
okay.
were two rotating on the airplane. So if I'm at home, she would be at work, and then we'd swap. But then you come home, everybody's at work, and you sit here.
Oh,
And
the timings, right?
timings, yes. And you miss Christmas, you miss New Year's, you miss birthdays, everything. You miss a lot when you travel like that. And because we flew all over the world, my boss liked to fly during the night.
Oh, wow.
So I came to a point where it was about, I need to decide what I'm going to do with the rest of my life.
This is not how I want to. It
No.
was good for the time, but not now.
Yes, it was perfect, because if I would have gotten married, in the culture, they dismiss it. If you get pregnant, I can't fly. So I decided, you know what, I need to start thinking, what am I going to do? And it took me a very long time to realize what it is that I actually have an interest in. I was thinking, am I going to buy a business? Or what am I going to do when I leave here? Because now it's starting over in a field that I have no experience or anything like that. Or I can go into tourism. But I always went for aesthetic treatments. And a friend of mine did the aesthetic treatments for me. And she said, well, why don't you come and see, have a look, and because I think you'd actually do good in this industry. So while I was studying international travel, I did nails and lashes for an income as a student.
Okay.
And
So you just started off as a passion project.
yes, just to get income because you're a student,
Right.
and it was an extra. But what I did is I enjoyed doing lashes. So I had the opportunity while we were flying, if we were somewhere for 3-4 days, I would do training in that country. And I enjoyed it. So when I came back and this conversation came up, I started sitting with her during the day when she was working, and I started getting very curious. And at some point, it just got me. So where I'm sitting here today, I have to say I really miss the flying, not the work, just the flying.
The thrill of the flying.
Yes, it's a different experience, and I do miss it. I still have a passion for it, but aesthetics was for me something that I really intrigued me because of what I can do for someone. And you know, when even if it's brows, you do permanent makeup brows, example, or lashes, or something simple, when you give them that mirror, that look on their face.
That says everything.
Yes, and that was sold. So while I was still flying, I started training, and I had the opportunity to basically train wherever I wanted to because I had the access to being wherever I wanted to go. And that ended up being so I did that for about 2 years while still flying. And after that, I resigned and I came back to start a business.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your journey from, your career perspective, but your passion project. And that's something from the heart. Born
Yes.
with a Purpose Foundation, how did that come about?
So I love what I do. And I'm one of few that does paramedical, which is wounds and scars.
Okay, so that's something else that you do specialize in as well.
Yes, in aesthetics.
In aesthetics.
So I have a big passion for that. And it's about healing. If someone has a bad scar, it might be a reminder of something. And it's a very lengthy process, but I can change it. And what intrigues me about it is the fact that it's not just I do one thing and it's fixed.
Right.
Every time I do something, now I have to see which road I'm going to take next. What happens now? Where are we? What's the progress? And that is also a big thing for me. And
that's a continuous assessment when of you deciding now which sphere to go into. Okay,
yes.
I get you.
And I'm, example, currently busy with a lady who removed a tattoo on her wrist and they burned her.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a 3rd-degree burn. So she's got very bad scarring here, and I've needled her about 4 times now. The scar's completely flat. Even some of the leftover ink came out. So the idea is to get it to a point where I can laser the rest of the ink out. But with a scar, I can't do that because there's scar tissue.
Oh.
So I have a very big passion for that and going that route. But Born with Purpose, actually, I felt I have this thing that I can do, that not many people can do.
You've got a gift.
Yes, and I'm not using it
Right.
to my full potential. And for very long, I've wanted to do charity.
Okay.
So it was by accident that Monique Weyers, Miss Universe 2024, ended up on my lash bed. And I never knew she was a semi-finalist. She was my client for about 6-7 months. And one day she asked if she can change her appointment. And she has an event. So I asked, oh, what event do you have? And she said, oh, I'm actually a semi-finalist.
Okay.
And from there, she started doing charity. And I asked, can I help here and there? because I really had an interest in it. And I wanted to do something more, but I just didn't know what. So I was thinking about ideas of how I can involve my business or get clients to, example, contribute to something, and then I give them discount. But then it stops there. And then at some point, it stops. And then it was like a block for me. I just couldn't get past it. And then within this year, I got to a point where I love what I do. My career is everything. And I work very long hours because I actually like what I do. But I felt like I needed a purpose. I don't have a purpose. So Monique is the first one I phoned. And I said, Monique, we need to talk.
I'm looking for my Zen. Help me.
And I said, I don't know what it is, but I need to do more. And I was thinking of ideas, but I don't know what to do. And then we started doing research. And because I said the word purpose, she said, well, you know, I had the Born with Purpose campaign when she was started as Miss Universe. And right there, we decided we're doing this.
Okay.
We are starting
a spur of the moment.
Yes, we are starting a MPO, and we are going to go big. And because I said to her, I have a talent that I can use for people who actually need it.
Yes, absolutely.
And I want to do that. But how do I get those people? It's not like I can advertise it on Facebook Marketplace and say, oh, I'm looking for a victim, you know?
Yeah,
how do I get a child that went through something to better something? It's not like I can go search on Facebook or the internet
it's not easily accessible.
Exactly. And I said to us, and that's how we came to, let's get a foundation, because then we get to deal with these people who needs this. And that would be my contribution from Aesthetica to help Born with Purpose. And we don't want to stop there. We decided to keep the name Born with Purpose because everything that is born has a purpose. And then from there, we just started. Yeah. So,
and how long has Born with Purpose been in existence for now?
It's a couple of months now.
And how has the journey been thus far?
Amazing. The only thing is we are still waiting for the registration papers to come through and everything.
Okay.
So we've actually been doing everything in our own capacity. But that limits us to, I can only give so much in a month and so can she. And then we use that and we do something with it. So we might not have done so much, but when we do something, we really try and go out of our way. We are planning like a workshop effect, I want to say, to help women. What we want to do is we want to bring in that you don't need an education to go somewhere in life. There's many people in life that didn't go and study, that doesn't have a good education, and made it.
Made a great success of this.
Yes, you just need the right mindset and attitude, and we want to help them get there. We want to teach them financial independence. We want to self-defense because of gender-based violence.
Wow, yes.
We want to help them in those ways so we are putting a plan together, and I'm very much looking forward to that because we need that.
You do, yes.
Yeah, we need
it's something that is needed.
Yes, and if we can go community to community, and even if we get
great awareness, I love that, Wendy.
Even if we get one that's successful, one becomes two.
Done the job, yes.
Two becomes three. If we can pick up one at a time, that's okay. We're picking up one at a time. Maybe we pick up 5 at a time, but even if it's one, we made a change.
You made a change.
Yes.
My word, that is absolutely inspiring, Wendy. Your journey
you.
Has been absolutely and tremendously inspiring. Now I've got to ask you before you leave us, what's one motivational quote that you ascribe to every day? Because you are one such powerhouse that, you know, you work with such passion. What is one quote, motivational quote that gets you through?
So I also, because I train students and everything, I always say to them, you know, no matter what life gives you, always give more back. And then, because your attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
I just feel that if you get up in the morning and you are down, you decide your attitude. You decide what today is going to be.
It's
And
all up to you.
it is all up to you. So you can make that change just by changing your attitude. Change your mind. You don't need to have a bad day. Make it a good one.
Make it a good one.
Yes.
Wendy, I want to thank you so much for joining me on
Thank
Visionary
you.
Pulse. It has been a privilege to have you on my show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
So that brings us to the end of another wonderful segment of Visionary Pulse. Join me for Zana Mayat next week as I chat to another visionary, game changer and change maker. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.